Okay, got the scanner all set up. Gonna do my watch list for today's Asia, London, and New York session. Bunch of signal days today. These blue boxes tell me that there are possible signal days on these pairs. Doesn't mean that there's going to be a trade on all these pairs. It just tells me that these pairs have good conditions to take possible trades, possible setups for me. So when these pairs get lit up, this tells me that all the criteria that I'm looking for have been met. But again, it doesn't tell me that these are going to be 100% trades. It just tells me that these are pairs that I have to look at a little bit closer. Since it's Asia session right now, I'm only looking basically at Asian pairs. I don't trade GBP CAD or Euro GBP in Asia. These are ones I trade in London. This one I trade in London and US. Oil, don't really trade this in Asia. Again, I look at it more in the US session. So these aren't, even though they're lit up, these aren't some things that I'll be looking at closely in Asia. But the goal for me right now, whenever I look at my scanner at the beginning of the day, I'm basically just marking off all these signal days and I'll have a look at them closer during the session. These stars over here, it tells me that these pairs have trend breakout setups. Lots of trend breakout setups here, lots of star setups here. Just tells me that the market has broken out. It makes sense. Last Friday was NFP day, so lots of breakouts in the market. So this is why lots of trend breakout setups. This one right here, this is a range setup. This icon is a barrier. It just tells me that it's a different setup. It's a range setup. So I have a bunch of different setups here. I have range setups, I have continuation setups, and I have reversal setups. No reversals in the market, but we do have one range, and all these other ones are continuation setups, trend breakouts. And so what I'm going to do right now is mark them all off to have a closer look later. So CAD Swiss, Aussie CAD, going to mark them all off the same color since they're all the same type of setup. Aussie USD, Swiss JPY, Euro USD, Euro CAD. So again, I'm marking them all off the same color because they're all the same setup. GBP USD, GBP Swiss, this is a different setup, so I have a different color for this. USD Swiss. So this is just a quick way for me to focus in on the pairs that have good conditions to trade for today. So when I'm marking these off, these are pretty much only the pairs that I'll be looking at for today. I'm not going to be looking at anything else except these ones that are marked off. SPX 500. Okay, so got all the pairs marked off. And then since right now is Asia session, I'm going to go through all the Asia pairs. Okay, so Nikkei. So what these red ones are, these are trend breakout setups. Looks like Asia has all trend breakout setups. Basically, what trend breakouts for me are, they're when the breakout levels, the hard time frame breakout levels are all pushing in one direction. Monthly, weekly, and daily breakout levels are all pushing in one direction. And then the peak bias are pushing in one direction as well. We faked out the previous month high yesterday, closed as a bearish fake out month. And then last week we closed as a bearish breakout week. So we broke out of that previous week low. So we have all the hard time frames pushing down, and then today is a breakout day. So this is what a trend breakout setup is. We have hard time frames all pushing in one direction, and then we're trading in a breakout day. So when I'm looking at a breakout day, continuation setup, I'm looking at a breakout day. First thing I'm looking for is a fake out of the previous high, the momentum time frame. So in this case, I'm looking at a daily setup. Setups are on the daily levels, and I'm looking at H8 for momentum. So what I'm looking for is a H8 high fake out below that daily breakout level, and I want to take it down to the previous day low. So here is a breakout day. We have the daily breakout level right over here, and we have the previous H8 high right here. So I'm waiting for a fake out of the H8 high and take it down to the previous day low. So this one looks like it might possibly set up, still far away from that, but basically I'm a mechanical trader, and all I need to do is wait for a fake out of this H8 high. Not sure if it'll happen, but I'm still going to just set my alerts here and see if that will play out. Okay, so now I'm going to go through the other trades, the other pairs. Again, all the setups are the same. We have hard time frames all pushing in one direction, breakout levels and peak bias all pushing in one direction, and I'm basically looking for a pullback to fake out the H8 low over here and take it up to the previous day high. So this one's already pushing up. If I don't get the fake out of the H8 low, what I'm looking for in a second setup is a breakout of the previous H8. Well, in this case, it's a bullish one. So I'm looking at a bullish setup here. I'm looking for a breakout of the previous H8 high above that previous day high. I don't generally like to take breakouts. Most breakouts fail. So I'll have to look at this a little bit closer. When I take breakouts, what I'm really looking for in a breakout setup, this is color coded red. I'm looking for a retracement. If I'm looking for a buy, I want to see a retracement of the M15. I want to see a M15 low fake out to take it back up. So let's see if that happens. But for the first setup I'm looking for on these days is always going to be a fake out of the H8 low to take it up to the previous day high. That's my favorite setup to take. So again, want to see a fake out of the H8 low to take it up. And let's see if that happens. Oil, again, I don't really trade oil in Asia. So this is not something I'm going to be looking at a bit closer. But in the scanner, oil has set up properly. So let's have a look at why it's set up properly. It's because it broke out of the H8 high and it also broke out of the previous day high. So this is a setup for me, breaking out of the H8 high as well as the previous day high. So that's a setup for me, but I do prefer if both levels are at the same level. Right now it's breaking out, but it did not. For me, a breakout needs to break out of an actual range. And right now, to me, this did not break out of an actual range, so I wouldn't take this. Um, okay, so I'm going to keep on going here. GJ, yen pairs have been moving really nicely lately, so this is something that I like a lot. Breakout levels all pushing down. Peak buys are mixed, but we have all breakout levels pushing one direction, and we have a breakout of the previous week low. So weekly traders are in breakout right now. Here's a weekly breakout level. And again, I'm looking for a pullback, faking out the H8 high, which is right here, and take it down. If price comes up and fakes out the H8 high, it would be above the daily breakout level. So that's not ideal. So this is probably not something that I would trade. But let's see. This is probably not going to be a trade that I can take in this first H8, but maybe when this H8 closes and this previous H8 high, if this level gets taken down a bit, then it's just something that I can probably possibly look at in probably London session. But I do not think that I'll have a trade on this in Asia session. Aussie USD, higher time frames all pushing down. Monthly breakout level, weekly breakout level, daily breakout level, all pushing down. We're trading in a breakout month, and we're also trading in a breakout week. So these are good conditions. We have the H8 high right here. So this is what I'm looking for. Again, this is a breakout day. These are all trend breakout setups. I'm looking for the exact same setup on every single one of them. And it is a fake out of the H8 high. The first setup I'm looking for in Asia, fake out of the H8 high, take it down to previous day low. H8 high is right here, this purple line. This is where the H8 high is. If I zoom in a bit, you can see previous H8 high right here. So I already know that my trade, if there's going to be a trade on Aussie USD, it's going to be here, faking out the H8 high. And again, what I'm looking for, faking out the H8 high and take it down to the previous day low. So I'm going to mark that off. This looks like possibly can have it set up. Next one, NZD USD. Hard time frame breakout levels, all bearish. We broke out of the previous month, and we also broke out of the previous week. So every higher time frames are all bearish. We have breakout months, breakout weeks, breakout days. So again, this is a trend breakout setup. Looking for that fake out of the H8 high to take this down to the previous day low. So I like these ones, Aussie USD and NZD USD. These ones look like it may possibly set up. What I don't like is that we are in a range here on the H4. So on the H4, it looks like there is an inside bar. Whenever I see an inside bar, I extend the previous bar's highs and lows, and that becomes my range. So this is something I need to be careful about. If it does fake out the H8 high, I need to make sure that it does not want to come up and fake out that range level. So I have to be careful about this one. Does Aussie USD have the same thing? Aussie USD, same thing. There's a range on the H4, so I got to be careful about both of these. Even though if they fake out the H8 high, I really have to make sure that it does roll over perfectly. Otherwise, I would expect it to continue on up to that range level. Okay, NZD USD. Next one, Aussie CAD. Again, hard time frame breakout levels, all pushing down. Breakout month, breakout week. All these setups are the same. Looking for a fake out of the H8 high. So don't need to spend too much time on that. Aussie NZD, was this set up? Aussie NZD, there is a breakout setup over here, trend breakout. And the reason why is because we have, I'll show you over here, um, this icon over here, this arrow box over here, it tells me that all the peak bias are aligned. The other ones here, this tells me that the full breakout bias and the peak bias are aligned. This triangle arrow tells me that the peak bias are aligned. This arrow slashed arrow over here tells me that the breakout bias are aligned. So this one is monthly, weekly, daily are all aligned. This one, the monthly, weekly, daily are not all fully aligned, but the peak bias are aligned. It tells me that the month high and the week high has been faked out. And so this is also a possible trend breakout day, especially since it's a breakout day. And so I'm looking for a fake out of that H8 high. Pretty unlikely, I think, that price will come up and fake this out and go back down. It's also a breakout day. Here's the breakout level. The setup, I need to take the trade underneath that breakout level. So this, to me, is unlikely that this will happen. Hard time frame breakout levels are pushing up. Even though peak bias are pushing down, peak bias tells me what current price action is doing, but the breakout bias is what the overall market is doing. So overall, since we have weekly and monthly pushing up, daily pushing down, we have overall bias pushing up. So this is not something that I would be too excited to be looking for trades. So this is probably not something I'll be looking at. Swiss JPY, hard time frame breakout levels all pushing down. It's a breakout week. Month is pushing up, or at least we faked out the previous month low. So monthly traders peak bias is pushing up, but we're in a breakout week. So as long as we stay below this week breakout level, and then on the daily, here's a daily breakout level. As long as we stay below these levels, I'm looking for sells. So again, I'm looking for a fake out of the H8 high to take it down. H8 high is way up here. If it gets all the way up here, it would actually be bullish on the weekly. So this is not something that I would be looking to trade in Asia. What I'd be looking for is if price can stay down here, and then the new H8 high during London will be pushed down, then it's something I could possibly take a continuation trade on, faking out the H8 high to take it down. But in Asia, I don't think that this will set up nicely for me. Okay, so marked off all the Asia pairs. I also have London pairs marked off and New York pairs, but I'm not going to be looking at this until we're closer to those sessions. So right now, I'm only going to be focused on Asia pairs. So I have this set up here. These are all set up for New York session last time, so I'm going to change them all to the Asia session scanner. And this is what I'll be looking for today. So the ones that I liked, Nikkei, gold, Aussie CAD, and let's go with NZD USD, something different here. Did not like Aussie NZD, did not like Swiss JPY. NZD CAD looks like it is set up now. NZD CAD was not in my pairs. It was not marked off earlier, but looks like it is now. So let's have a quick look at NZD CAD. I think this was a trend breakout again. Have a quick look at NZD CAD. So this is why I look at the pairs a little closer to the session, because they update in real time. So initially, I don't think I had NZD CAD set up here. Now it's set up. So let's have a quick look. Okay, so NZD CAD is lit up. So that tells me that all my entry criteria have been met on this one. Can have a quick look here. It looks like I might have a possible trade. Higher time frame breakout levels all pushing down. Peak bias all pushing down. It's a breakout month, breakout week. Um, we're below the week breakout level. It's a daily breakout day. We're below that daily breakout level, and we're faking out the H8 high. So everything I'm looking for to take a trade is now satisfied on NZD CAD. Got the below the daily breakout level, fake out the previous H8 high. So now what I'm looking for is my entry criteria. I'm looking for the fake out of the H8 high. So we got the fake out of the H8 high, and I need 2 time frame alignment. I'm looking for the M15 to be on my side. M15, here's the breakout level, the last M15 breakout level. I need price to get below that breakout level. Breakout levels tell me the overall bias of this time frame. So the M15 is still bullish as long as we stay above this. What I want to see is a closure below this M15 breakout level. So that flips the M15 bearish if it can get below this one. And then I always need 2 time frame alignment. I need the M15 aligned with the H1. I'm either looking for an H1 fake out or an H1 closure below that H1 breakout level. So right now we have 30 minutes until the new H1. Probably going to wait for that new H1. What I want to see is either a fake out of the H1 high and getting below this M15 breakout level, or I need to see the M15 close below this H1 breakout level. So right now the H1 breakout level is right here. Here's the last H1 breakout bar. And so this is the H1 breakout level. So I need price to get below this level. But what I'm looking for right now, what I'm hoping for actually, is in 30 minutes, I'm hoping for this H1 breakout, H1 bar to close in breakout. So if it closes in breakout, this breakout level gets pushed up, and then I can take a sell as price gets below the M15 and the H1 breakout level. Probably won't be taking this right now. Um, the next M15 definitely won't get below this H1 breakout level, but and after that, the next M15 after that will be at 7:45, which is 15 minutes before the H1. I'd rather just wait for that H1 to close. Reason why I'm waiting for the H1 to close is if you see all these higher time frame bars or any time frame bar, you're going to see lots of these top wicks and bottom wicks, and basically that tells me that whenever the bar closes, at some point in the new bar, that there's going to be a pullback. So if I get in too close at the closure of the H1 or any of these time frame bars, I would expect at the next time frame, at the next bar, that at some point I'm going to be in drawdown. So that's why I don't want to enter a trade too close to the H1 bar. You can see that almost every time an H1 bar closes, there's going to be some sort of pullback, right? So don't want to take a trade too close to that H1 open. So NZD CAD, I think, is going to be the one that I'll be focused on. That's the only one that's set up everything that I'm looking for. So I'm going to switch this off to NZD CAD. It's got everything that I'm looking for, and basically now I'm just waiting for the H1 to close, and let's see if I can take any trade on this. So what I'm looking for, again, I want the H1 to close in breakout, which pushes that H1 breakout level up, and then I would like to take a trade when this M15 closes below stop loss at the higher of the day and take it down to the previous day low. And since the previous HA low is right here, I might as well just take it down to over here. So this is the trade I'll be looking for, but it's not set up right now. And this is what the scanner helps me to do. It tells me all the signal days and then tells me when my setup is all, what everything I'm looking for in a setup is satisfied. So again, looking for that continuation setup. It's a trend breakout, so I'm looking for a fake out of the H8 high. So we do have a fake out of the H8 high. This mark over here, this rectangle tells me that it's faked out the H8 high. It triggered the H8 high and then down below it, so that's a fake out. Higher time frames are all bearish. Monthly, weekly, daily are all bearish, and peak bias are all bearish as well. We're in a breakout week, breakout month. Weekly and daily has not been triggered. But I can see based on this check mark, it tells me that all the breakout levels and peak bias are all pointing in the same direction. So right now, only 19% of these levels are bullish. So the daily open, H8 open, and the weekly open are all bullish, but everything else is bearish. And then we have some neutrals here. 13% of the levels I'm looking at are neutral. This just tells me that these weekly and daily peaks have not been triggered. So that's why it's neutral. And yeah, so focus on this one. Let's see what happens at 8 o'clock. And that's what I'll be looking to take trades. The other thing is at 8 o'clock here in Jakarta, that's 1 hour before the new H4. And I never like to take a trade right before that H4. And so most likely I'm just going to be waiting until this H4 closes. So again, the reason why I don't like to trade close to these big bars, higher time frames closing, is because lots of times when the time frame closes, at some point in the next bar, there's going to be some sort of pullback. So I might as well just wait for that pullback instead of entering too late in the time frame. Right. So lots of times whenever these time bars close, next bar is going to have some sort of pullback. This bar closes, it's going to be some sort of pullback. This bar closed over here, there's going to be some pullback. So that's why I don't like to take a trade too close to that time frame, those higher time frame bars closing. Okay, so I might as well just wait until the next H1 in about 30 minutes. I'll have another look at it. And if I still don't really like it, if it hasn't really turned over, I'm going to wait for that H4 bar to close. And that's it. So a little bit longer than I wanted, but I think I got through everything, my entire process. It's a very quick, painless process for me, just marking off all the signal days and then going through them, putting them all on the scanner. So I have two windows for the scanner. I have an overall view. So this tells me every single pair in the market that I'm looking at. And then this one is just focused on the Asia pairs. And once I like these pairs, then I mark them off, put some alerts, and then I look at the main ones that I want to see over here. And then these ones update in real time. And this is how I was able to look at NZD CAD. All right, so that's it. Let's see if this trade plays out. But this is how I do my watch list using this indicator. And that's it.